Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial is going to be on cables, my favourite thing to knit in the world, as you can tell by my Sucker for Cables sweater. Ignore the dog hair, I have a lot of animals who like to sleep on my clothes. So today's tutorial is going to be on a specific kind of cable. I'm going to tell you the abbreviations. I'm also going to warn you, I'm going to mess up calling or naming the abbreviations a lot in this tutorial probably, because I just find them tongue twisters. So the ones I'm going to show you today, specifically, I'm going to give you a bigger one here. These two are known under two kinds of abbreviations, namely, I'm going to try C6B and C6F, but they're also known as 3/3RC and 3/3LC. Okay, so what I'm going to do in the tutorial, I'm going to explain to you both types of abbreviations, and then I'm going to show you how to actually knit them using a cable needle, but also how to knit them without using a cable needle, because I usually don't use a cable needle. So that's what today's tutorial is going to be about. So the first abbreviation I'm going to explain to you is the 3/3RC and LC abbreviation. The 3/3 is simply the division of the cable. It's a 6-stitch cable. And the 3/3 simply means that you're going to divide them, so when you twist them or make the actual cable here, you're going to separate them into 3 and 3. You also have cables that are, for instance, 2/4 or 4/2. That's what that number means. This is a 3/3 cable, so it's going to be like this. The LC or RC means left crossing and right crossing. It's when you actually make the cable, the crossing, whether it's leaning towards the left or the right. How can you tell? Very easily. You just look at the top part that you see the most. You just put your finger on it. If it's pointing to the right, then it's a right crossing cable. Same here. Put your finger on it. It's pointing towards the left, so it's a left crossing cable. So that is what 3/3 RC and 3/3 LC mean. Not that hard. The next abbreviation, and it's also the abbreviation I personally use the most because it's the one that actually tells you what to do during the cable knitting. It's I told you I was going to mess it up. C6B and C6F. What does the abbreviation mean? The C is just cable, easy enough. The 6 is the amount of stitches in the entire cable, 6 stitches. And the F is for front and the B is for back. It just tells you what to do with the first half of the stitches. So with the first 3, you're supposed to put them on a cable needle, and then you hold them in the front, F, or in the back, B. That's all. Really not that difficult. So right now then I'll show you how to actually knit them. So I've already knitted towards the cable I'm going to knit here. To use a cable needle, you just choose one either the same size as the normal needles you're using, or you go down a size, never go up because it's just difficult. I'm using one that is smaller. Why? It's the only one I have, or at least the only one I could find. As I said, I never use cable needles. I had to look for this one. I always lose it. So you take your needles, you're at the cable, so these 6 stitches are the ones I'm going to work with. You take your cable needle. The first one I'm going to do is a C6B. You take the first 3 stitches and you slip them onto your cable needle, like so. You can place them into the little bump here. You also have cable needles that are like, they kind of look like a fish hook. They're also quite convenient to make sure they don't slide off. So you put them on your cable needle and you hold them in the back. That's what the B is for. So Make sure you don't, when you hold them in the back, make sure you don't twist them. You just keep them nice and straight. And you hold your yarn over it. Not towards the back, because then you're going to be twisting everything. You hold them over the cable needles. So you really hold it. So you just continue knitting. You really are just holding it in the back, out of the way of everything. And then you just knit the next 3 stitches on your left cable needle, like so. And then putting the yarn, just gonna hold it here. You take, making sure you don't twist anything, keep them straight. You take the needle, the cable needle, maybe just slide this all out the way. Okay. This is why I don't use a cable needle. I find it a little bit fussy, but I do think it's easier if you're not used to knitting cables to maybe temporarily still use, or forever. It's your own preference. If you like using cable needles, then you use cable needles. So, and then now you just either you knit the cable needle stitches like so. There you have it. If you find that it's a little bit difficult to wrangle the 3 needles at the same time, what you can also do basically is, I'm just going to undo this. I'm just going to put these 3 stitches back onto the cable needles, so I'm unknitting them. So instead of knitting them from your cable needle, what you could also do, if you find it easier or in the beginning, you just slide them back towards the point and you slip them back onto your left needle. There. So now when you're knitting, you only have 2 needles that you're working with. So you then just knit them from your left needle. Oops. And there you have it. A nice cable. So now I'm going to show you how I usually knit my cables without a cable needle. I just can't be bothered. So what I do, the 3 stitches that you normally put on your cable needle and hold in the back, I'm just going to ignore them and keep them in the back of my right. I'm holding them to the back of my right needle. I'm going to look at the back 3, the second 3 stitches, kind of stretch them down a little bit, kind of shimmy my right needle through all 3 of them, keep my yarn here, just keep your yarn out of the way here. Then I'm going to pinch the first 3 so they don't unravel, so just pinch the first 3 with my 2 fingers here. I slide my left needle out of all 3 and then slide them back into the first 3. So, and then like this, put them back. That's how I do it. And then I just knit 6. Oops, I'm not using the best yarn. Oops, there we are. So those are 2 ways you can knit them, either with a cable needle or without. The effect is exactly the same. It's exactly the same kind of needle, cable. So now I'll show you how to do the C6F. You take your first 3 stitches and you place them on the cable needle. It's exactly the same like the previous one. But now instead of holding them in the back, you hold them in the front with the F knees. So you can already tell if you lay it flat, you're going to knit them like this. So it's going to point towards the left. So you hold them in the front. And then just knit the next 3 stitches on your left needle. then you take your cable needle, you slide the stitches here, or you can slide these back onto your left needle if you prefer that, if you find that easier, if you don't want to work with 3 needles at the same time. The yarn here. Now just knit the 3 stitches from the cable needle. There you are. There you have it. And then I'll quickly show you how I usually do it. Could be convenient if you've lost your cable needle. So what I do is, instead of holding them in the front with my cable needle, I just hold them in front of my right needle. So I just kind of skip them, I ignore them. Again, I stretch the 3 last stitches from the cable. I just stretch them down a little bit and just shimmy my right needle in all 3 of them at the same time. Pinch the first 3 so they don't unravel. Slide my left needle out of all 6 and slide them back into the first 3. So now I have, there you go, like this. And then I just put these ones back onto the left needle, as so. So you can already see the effect. You can also already see the cable because I just switched the places of all the stitches, and then you just knit 6 from your left needle. There you are. And again, 2 different ways to knit them, but the effect is exactly the same. And there you are, just stretching it. So there you have it. So just to repeat, C6B or C6B or 3/3 RC, right crossing, and C6F, F for front, and or 3/3 LC, left crossing. And that's how you do it. So that was today's tutorial. If it was helpful, please leave a comment down below. Click on that like button and subscribe to my channel. It would really help me out. If you liked the sight of my dog hair covered sucker for cable sweater, I'll drop the link to the pattern in the description box below. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Jane's Knitwear. Bye.